But yeah,
I've seen people, some sites sell them. They're looking like $300-400 for one of them. You know,
Yeah.
so depending on the size.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Let's go ahead. Let's get into it. We are all on our paint journey, but where are we now, and where do we go next? This is how passion, action, intent, new teach. This is the paint method. Sal, welcome.
My guy.
Man, it's actually weird calling you Sal because I feel like Kickstradomis fits you so well.
I'm so used to kicks now. Like
Or kicks.
everywhere. Kicks, just keep it short. Like everybody just kicks.
That's even better. That's like owning Kleenex.
Yeah.
You know? Or the color blue, especially because of the world you're in. I'm like, it just fits.
Yeah, man, and it's funny because I haven't even bought a pair of sneakers for myself in like the last 2 years. I have too many of them. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah,
that's not a problem I have for sure. But that's ironic. It's like, I mean, I guess it would be the same. I mean, I haven't bought art. Actually, I did just buy art recently, and I have to. I'm gonna post it on my story as soon as I get it. But it was this Instagram ad for this guy. He does these screen printings, and it says, my prices don't reflect the time I take. It reflects my talent. Something like that. And I was like, bro, he must have sold a shit ton of these. Like,
I mean, he got you. Yeah,
he got me.
He
and I never buy shit on Instagram. And I was like, that's it. You know,
that's awesome.
But man, welcome. We've been trying to do this for a while. And I know we were waiting for the studio to get done.
I think we had, lunch? Like, man.
Yeah.
More than 5 months ago, probably.
It was a long time. It was a long time. At Makuni's, had some sushi, and you know, kind of had recently moved to the area not too long before.
I've been here probably going on 3 years now.
Okay.
So still fairly new. You know, I like the area. I like. It's different, man. I mean, I live in Roseville, so it's not as artsy as like getting closer to Sac, as you already know, but. It's very calm compared to like when I was in Los Angeles, you know?
Yeah. Which is not bad. I mean, LA is like you're constantly on the go. I feel like every time I go to LA or New York, I'm like, God, I haven't slept. I haven't eaten. Everything just, I don't feel like I can find a flow. And I think that's why I feel like I've been able to thrive so much over the years, at least in different areas, being in Sacramento, because it feels more focused.
That's what I was gonna say. Is like everybody comes to me like, "Why did you move from LA? That's like the Mecca, bro. Like for what you do." And it's quite the opposite, right? I had a lot of opportunities there, but after COVID, it kind of like everything just got different, right? Everybody doing their own thing, staying away from each other. But Sacramento, I've been able to, like you say, focus more on my craft instead of having all these distractions, right? Able to just laser focus, just focus in on what you want to do. And there'll go days. I'm pretty sure you're on the same page where if you don't have other things to do, you could paint for hours and forget what time it is, you know?
Absolutely.
So, absolutely.
The kids would be still at school now from the past 2 weeks if I could just sit there and paint all day. But, you know, even before you came here, I mean, you're in this really unique world of sneakers, but it's so much bigger than that. And I feel like unless you've collected anything in your life, I feel like people don't really understand the value of why sneakers are traded at such a high level or customized by someone like you. And so I'm curious, how does someone like you're obviously a natural creative and artist, how do you get into customizing sneakers, collecting? I mean, what comes first, the collecting or the customizing?
It's wild, man. This goes way back to when I was about 26 years old. Yeah, 26 years old.
Bro, did you start now. 3 years ago?
I'm 36 like, now, you know what I mean?
I was like, you look young. You look not too far.
We look a lot younger than we are, you know what I'm saying? But it's all good. But I mean, I was 26 years old. I was living on my cousin's couch. Like, it was just one of those rock bottom moments, you know? Living on my cousin's couch, probably paying like $200 a month on rent just so I could live on that couch. I had my son. I was working at a shoe store. at Finish Line in the mall. So I was working at a shoe store, but I was broke. You know, I was paying child support. The government was taking money from my checks to pay child support.
Yeah.
And, you know, aside from that, I paid the rent, and I didn't have much else every 2 weeks. I buy my cup of noodles, 24-pack cup of noodles, throw it in the back of the stock room over there at Finish Line, and just work. I had 2 pairs of shoes to my name. It's probably like some Chucks and like some beat-up Nikes, right? I didn't have money to collect shoes. I liked them. I just couldn't afford them, so it was never like a priority for me. My art goes back to when I was like 4 years old, making my own comic books. You know, I'm pretty sure you went through a stage where you're just drawing your own things up.
Comic books were the original inspiration. I mean, when you're learning how to draw growing up, you're looking at something, drawing it.
Yeah, you love cartoons. You love stuff like that. So it's like you take these references and you start making your own stuff, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I did art most of my life. Like school was never like really the vibe for me for some reason. I don't know. But like even in school, I would be just drawing. I'd draw the teachers, bro, like life portraits. And they'll be passing them around the class laughing, but like I was just drawing, bro. That was my thing growing up.
Yo, I would do that also growing up. And I had this. The one time I was in 3rd grade, I was drawing animal skeletons from encyclopedias, and then I would just put it on the teacher's desk. And I'm like, go ahead and add a little bit extra to my grade. Like, you would think I was passing her $100 bill. I was like way ahead of myself and thinking of the value of my creativity. But same thing.
Funny,
I'm like, any chance I got to create when I was younger, I would just do it.
Yeah, man. So that's what I was doing. So, you know, you come to when I'm 26, and I'm one of the toughest spots in my life. And, you know, my cousins, my younger cousins, I'm the oldest of my entire family as far as cousins go. You know, I'm the one that was supposed to set the example, right? The way my aunts put it.
Was that like pressure on you at the time? Like, were you conscious
it was
of that?
Absolutely pressure, bro. Because like I said, I didn't like school, so like some of those years I really slacked off. And my uncle, who's like my dad, you know, they raised me. He was in the Marines and stuff, so he's really strict with it. Like, nah, man, you gotta get good grades, or they would take everything from my room. Like, I was just left with a bed and a Harry Potter book, bro. And I did not like to read. That's what they left me with.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. I mean, you know, my cousins that were younger, they were spoiled, you know, by my aunts and my uncles. And, you know, they had a little bit of better upbringing. And one of my cousins that had a bunch of Jordans, he came up to me random one day. Yo, I know you do art and you could paint and stuff. You think you could fix these? And I was like, I could try. So he's kind of like the one that like sparked it. Like
he wanted them to look back to normal?
Yeah. Like,
that's interesting.
Restoring the shoes, you know, because they would crack and stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it all started with me like doing a little bit of research and starting to restore. So I went from making in my pocket after like child support and rent and stuff every 2 weeks, like a month, I was probably making like $350 cash, which is nothing, bro. Yeah, like nothing after everything's paid, right?
I do have a question though. Say you're left with $350. What do you splurge on? Even if it's like, yo, I gotta have that sweet tooth candy, or like a subscription. You're like, outside of like the essentials, like phone, internet, whatever.
That's an interesting question, man. It's probably like food, man. Like,
yeah. But what kind of food would you splurge on?
Man. I mean, at that rate, like, you got to cherish those $350.
That's true.
So it was like any meal over like $25 was like gold, right?
Yeah.
At that point, like, oh man, this is good. Like, I'm gonna enjoy this. Put a little bit of something in the fridge, you know, like,
especially when
like
you don't know where the next money's coming from. Too. You're like, this could be it.
So that, and then a mixture of buying a little something for my son, because I couldn't afford nothing. So like, just buy him a little toy or something like that.
That's the splurge, probably.
Yeah, that was the splurge.
That's a good one.
But yeah, I started doing that, and I went from making the $350 a month, like through the checks, to restoring shoes for people all over the city. Like, I was living in Norwalk at the time, Norwalk, Bellflower, Downey, all those areas, and yeah, it went to like me making like $800 to $1,000 every 2 weeks cash, bro. People were dropping off shoe boxes with cash inside. I looked like a drug dealer, bro. But I was literally just getting shoes. I was building a mountain in the apartment.
Yeah.
And it was just like I feel like, to me,
That's
I felt rich.
That is
at that moment.
a Kickstradomis origin story right there. Like,
Oh, the origin story is crazy.
yeah,
Yeah.
but that's a part of it. I mean, that feels
Mm-hmm.
like you think about like Scarface's.
Yeah, like how did this begin, right?
Yeah.
It's definitely, and we lived in the hood, so it never looked like, it always looked kind of fishy. I could imagine somebody else looking at this, people just dropping out boxes of shoes, and I'm just like
Yeah.
carrying them in. But yeah, man, I mean, to go from $350 a month to $1,000 cash every 2 weeks, like pretty much average, I felt rich. You know, I was able to put food in the refrigerator. I was able to buy stuff for my son, take him out, and
Yeah, you're tripling your profit.
yeah, you know,
that feels
it
good
was
on any
crazy.
level.
Yeah, it was absolutely crazy, and it was all cash.
That's even better.
That's the beauty, right? So I mean, but at the same time, trials and tribulations, right? So like taking people's shoes, their expensive shoes. I messed up quite a few shoes, man. Like, you know,
Yeah.
I was going in there confident, like, yo, I could do this.
Yeah.
I was taking stuff that I didn't even know how to do yet, but I was learning.
Yeah.
So it was all a huge learning experience. Also that point where you're just taking too much in. And you're overwhelming yourself. So I went through all those stages.
Man, I just had one of those moments recently where I was just saying yes to a lot of stuff. And then the day came to like do all the portraits. I think in that day I did like 11 separate portraits
Wow.
within hours. Like it was just a lot. I got them done. I just don't think that I was able to give 100 of what I could have done with like maybe 3 at a time.
Yeah.
And so I learned my lesson with that of like, you know, and you only learn from when you do it.
Well,
So it's like,
luckily you're a speed guy, right?
well,
Can
the
you imagine if you weren't?
Speed part, no problem. Making sure that the quality was
Yeah,
still there.
you gotta
was
keep it up to par, right?
Yeah,
This
yeah.
is my piece. It's gotta reflect all my pieces.
But
So,
now
yeah.
I know. You gotta like put yourself into it. It's like I know a limit now, and
And at times, like this is what other artists need to listen to. It's like the money sounds good, there's a lot coming in, but yeah, man, you burn yourself out doing this. We
Yeah.
we love what we do, but you still burn yourself out doing this. man.
absolutely.
So,
I'll share. Actually, I'll talk about this more off air. But it's a book that every artist needs to listen to or read, and it's called 10x is easier than 2x, and it talks about like we're naturally just living 2x lives. Like there's 80% of us that remains the same. We keep doing that better, and then 20% we adjust every year and helps us kind of keep doing this. When you start thinking about how do I 10x my life to gain more freedom, is you're like, what's the top 20% of what works really well? The clients, the type of paintings I'm confident in, and then what's the 80% that I can get rid of, but also make room for what's doing really well and build on those. And so there's a lot more of the methods to it, but I don't think artists think enough in a sense of like an entrepreneur when you're like, how do I make my processes, you know, better, or how do I not burn myself out, or knowing that not all money is good money either. And so, yeah,
that's crazy.
So mic was cutting out a little bit. It's back on. Okay, cool. It's back on. So you made some mistakes. Now, that's like, we'll call that like the passion phase. Like you're starting to put the action behind it. Where's like
Starting the car, right?
Yeah, like where? Okay,
Where does it take off?
where does it like finally like? Oh shit, things are about to
so
change.
It's crazy, bro. So, you know, I started learning more stuff, and I was still doing restorations, but then I saw, you know, as you want to learn more, right? So, I mean, you have all these resources. You have YouTube, you have the internet now. I started trying to figure out certain things, and then that's when I saw like some guy was doing art on some vans, right?
Yeah.
And it's like a light bulb moment. I was just like, yo, I could do that. You know, that seems more fun than fixing these things. So I kind of pivoted that way. And yeah, man, it was crazy. It was still kind of like fairly new towards the beginning of Instagram. So you were able to still get traction pretty quick.
Yeah.
So it started taking off, man. It was a word of mouth. I got really cool with some bloggers from some huge sneaker blogs that were like sharing my work, and it just started to build my Instagram.
Yeah.
And
What amount of followers did you get to? And you're like, I made it. Like early on, you're like,
it's weird. So in what year was it? So I got to about 105,000.
yeah,
And it was pretty high, right? Especially for somebody that just paints sneakers.
yeah.
And then something happened. I believe it was in. It had to be like 2013 or 14. I was on the up. There was a sneaker con in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And I had a crazy booth. I had done like this whole installation of like custom Air Mags, like from Back to the Future. So it was like Kobe's, Jordans, Air Forces. They were all customized as Air Mags. They had lights and everything. I had this crazy setup.
Those Air Mags are like a holy grail.
Yeah.
In sneaker.
So the Saturday was really well, but Sunday was gonna be even better for me. I was on my way and I got in this terrible accident on the freeway.
Wow.
And yeah, it ended up I didn't make it to the show. Ended up messing up my back.
Yeah.
But got adrenaline and stuff, so you don't feel it till later.
Yeah.
So obviously this art stuff's my bread and butter. Like I don't have another job. Like I was really just working strictly doing this. Like I didn't have a job. I ended up going to the doctor, and the doctor was like, "Yo, you can't be painting for a while. You got to do some rehab on your back because it's bad." Because I don't think people understand how much like we put strain on our backs.
Yeah, just sitting up for hours at a time, even it's not healthy. You know?
And then when I'm airbrushing, or brushes or stuff, you're hunching over and stuff.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, cool, I'll do rehab, but I kept painting, bro. Like I'm not gonna stop. This is my money. It got to the point where I had to.
Okay.
And I went through a depression. It's 2016. That's when it was.
You're coming off a high.
A high.
You're like things. Are moving.
Things were on the up and up.
Mm-hmm.
I go through this mini depression where I just don't want to paint anymore. It's just like I'm distraught. I hit another rock bottom, right?
Yeah.
Log out of my Instagram, make it private, and I don't log back in for another year, bro. I just let it go. I didn't even want to go in there. I didn't want to know what people are saying about me. To add to that, like the industry that I was in, the sneaker customizing, is very cutthroat. There's a lot of egos.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of older guys that have been doing it for so many years that don't like, as much as I hate to say it, like this young colored dude, right?
Yeah.
This young Hispanic dude just coming up out of nowhere and just getting like the shine that I deserve. Like that's how they see it, right?
And it's
like,
still kind of like, sneakers are from that streetwear culture. Streetwear is from hip hop, even skate culture. Though it's kind of volatile when it comes to competition because the culture is based on battling.
Yeah.
It's like fighting for like what little resources are there. So I can see that,
And it sucks because at that point in my life, I wasn't mentally strong, right? I mean, there's been so many things that I've gone through in my life. I lost my mom at 8 years old.
Wow.
Like all these things growing up in downtown LA, in the hoods and stuff, and like kind of like, having to. Luckily, I had the family that I have, you know what I'm saying? And so it took a while for me to get mentally strong, especially at that time when I was on the up and up. I had a lot of people that didn't like me, a lot of artists that I used to be cool with, but because I started to focus on myself and wanting to build myself instead of just looking out for everybody else, they got mad, they didn't like it, like, yo, what the hell, like, so...
Yeah,
it was just a lot coming in different directions. So when the accident happened, that's kind of when I tapped out. I don't want to see what people are saying. Nobody checked in. The people I was cool with, nobody checked in with me after I disappeared. So it was like, who's really there? I ended up getting after I went through rehab. I still have my kid. I still have bills, right?
Yeah.
So I had to like swallow my pride and just get any job I can get. At this point, I haven't had an actual job in so long. I ended up getting a job at this refrigerated warehouse, super hard labor job. A lot of the people.
Wait, was it a cold warehouse, or did they sell refrigerators?
No, it's cold.
Oh, it's
bro.
cold.
Like
Oh my
produce and
God.
stuff. Yeah, bro.
That doesn't
Like,
sound pleasant.
a lot of people that work in there only speak Spanish. I know Spanish,
Yeah.
but like I had to like brush up on my Spanish, like put it that way, right?
Yeah.
But these are like some hard working people, man. Like it kind of opened my eyes to so much, being there and seeing how
Doesn't that
hard
make you
these people-
appreciate though?
Oh,
like I know, just like
absolutely.
I don't want to get off track because I really want to hear the story, but it really, like, my dad used to put me to work in
Yep.
this warehouse that he had growing up. It was like a snack food company, and middle school, high school, I was working in a warehouse next to people that was like their job, and I learned to appreciate
Yeah,
real hard work.
And some of those people would be there for years,
Yeah.
right? Their whole lives. So
Yeah.
yeah, definitely, man. It was definitely an eye opener, but it taught me some things, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was at the point in my life where I was like, yo, if I'm gonna be here, then I'm gonna have to bust my ass so I could be a supervisor or something. If I'm gonna be able to take care of my son, you know, and myself.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a goal at that point. Like this is what my life is. Like
Yeah.
this is where I'm gonna be stuck. So
But you're still thinking higher though. Even maybe I'm giving too much stock to it, but what it sounds and
yeah,
feels
in a
like,
way, right?
I'm
It's
not
like
gonna
at least
settle.
I'm gonna be a supervisor, right?
Exactly, yeah.
But like,
Trying to find the positive. in it,
yeah, I was working from 4 a.m. to like 4 or 5 p.m.
Man.
I didn't have a car, so a lot of my money was going to Uber
Mm-hmm.
morning and afternoon just to get back and go to work, and then child support, you know,
Yeah.
and
They don't care what your
yeah.
situation
So
is.
so that overtime, I wasn't really seeing it, bro. With the taxes, child support, Uber, like I was just working my ass off just
Yeah.
to work, and maybe like 5-6 months into being there, I started to think in my head, man, like, you deserve more than this, bro. Like you've been somewhere, you have a talent, something sparked, bro. I couldn't do it anymore.
Yeah.
So I decided one day randomly just to log back into my Instagram. And when you go public, it accepts everybody that was trying to
Oh,
follow
wow.
you, right? But I was already at like about 80,000 followers. So I lost like about 40, like
Okay.
something around that range, because it's like a dormant account. People are just leaving.
Okay.
I accepted who I can. And back then, you used to be able to go online
Mm-hmm.
on these certain websites and see who are the influential followers that you have.
Okay.
Like you would just type in your stuff, log in, and it'll show all your verified accounts that follow you.
Got it.
So that's when I realized a certain few people that were following me.
Yeah.
You know, one of them that stood out, because I'm a big basketball guy, was Karl Anthony-Towns. So Karl Anthony-Towns, at that point in my career, when I was getting back into it in 2017, it was about to be, so the end of 2016, he was a rising star, like second year, right? But superstar guy. He was rookie of the year type stuff. And I was like kind of like shocked, like, yo, this guy's following me.
Yeah.
So I just shot my shot, sent him a DM on the Instagram, and I kept it 100 with him, bro. I was like, yo, I'm at the bottom. I'm at rock bottom right now.
That's some real shit right there to like
Yeah.
share that with someone who's influential.
It was a long one too. I was just like, yo, man, like I love the NBA.
Wow.
I love your game. You know, I haven't painted in a year, but you know, if you give me an opportunity to paint you a pair, and if you like them, you could wear them. You know, I'm not gonna charge you anything. I just need that chance. And within like 5 minutes, the dude responds back to me, which is crazy, right? He's like, yo, I can't believe you're hitting me up. You know, I'm like,
Wow.
what?
Yeah.
He's like, I love your stuff. And I was like, man, I would really love the opportunity. And he was like, where you at? I was like, I stay in L.A. And he was like, oh, that's crazy. I'm in L.A. for the summer right now. Like, I have a house here in L.A. for the summer. Why don't you come by this week? And I was like, well, hold on. Like, you know, everything moving fast right now.
Yeah.
But within a few days, man, I was chilling with him at the place he was staying for the summer. We were chilling for probably about 6 hours that day, bro. Like,
Wow.
he was just picking my brain, getting to know me. You know, he probably wanted to, like, you know, see, like, what my intentions were, right?
Mhm.
Because when you're at that level, like, you can't just
Yes.
trust anybody, right? So,
Yeah.
we hit it off, and he was like, man, you know, I love your story. You know, I love that you're the underdog right now. He's like, I've had other people trying to like hit me up, but let's do it, man. I'm gonna send you some stuff, and as work on your own time. But like when you get them done, just send it to me and I'll wear them. I was like, damn, that's crazy, right?
Yeah, shout out to Cat for that.
Yeah, man, Cat, dude.
By the way, I just
I
painted
saw that
him.
you were a Cat, or you painted him.
I just painted him.
Where were you guys? Oh, you didn't meet him yet. Have you met him before?
I never met him. Yeah,
Oh, man,
I was
you
in
gotta meet him, dude.
Abu
It's
Dhabi.
awesome.
This fashion designer, this guy Donnie Namias, who I met out there, he dressed him for like, but everyone that I've met that have met him say he's such a great guy.
Oh, humble
Such a nice
dude,
guy,
man.
Yeah.
So he changed my life in more ways than one, right? Because it's one thing to come back from a hiatus like that, but to come back like full force, bro, it's different, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, you know, he sent me a box probably this high from the ground. He wears size 20, so they're like this size.
Oh my
Huge
God.
canvas, bro.
So that's like a dream canvas for
It's
kicks.
so big. It's like the first time I'm holding it, I'm laughing, bro. I'm like, this can't be possible.
That's insane.
But yeah, man, like people don't understand our grind and what it took for us to get where we are today, right? Like some people, like especially the culture and the young kids today, they just see us like popping on social media and they're like, oh man, they're it, like this is it, but they don't know the backstories or the amount of hours and like sweat and tears, all that we put into this stuff.
Like even this shift now happening again is this opportunity presents, but you still have to go clock in at the refrigerated warehouse while you're like trying to manage like this opportunity and not just mess everything up or like burn, be like, oh, I'm gonna quit, I'm out of here.
Well,
you know,
I couldn't do it because you gotta I gotta rely on that money.
Yes.
Every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like no matter what, you can't do it.
Yeah.
So okay, I wake up at 2:30 or 3 o'clock in the morning every day to get ready to go to work till like 4 or 5, sometimes 6, come home. So what I was doing at this point is I'd come home like 5-ish or whatever, and I would paint. And I would sleep probably 2 or 3 hours a day.
Wow.
Go back to work, do it again. I was just grinding, double grind, right? And these hard labor jobs, bro, you come home like you're sore, man.
Yeah.
Like after a while you get used to it, but you're tired, you're beat.
And doing that for so long too, like when you've been grinding for that long, for say a month plus months or whatever, however long it is, like your soul starts to get worn down.
Well, not only that, at that job it was like freezer, right? So like there's like rooms where it's like below 0.
Jeez.
But they threw me in the ripe room. They had me in charge of like the tomatoes, the fruits.
Okay.
So it was humid in there. So I'm going in and out of humid to freezer, in and out. So there was times where I'd get sick and I felt like I was dying, bro.
Oh my God.
So yeah, it was like double. Like
Yeah.
I'm the new guy. We're throwing you in the place nobody wants to
Yeah.
work. You know, I'd rather work in just a frozen environment where you have like the stuff and the gloves and everything
Yeah.
than going back in and out.
Oh,
You know.
Screensaver came on on the computer.
But
Yeah.
yeah, man. I mean,
I'm gonna just put the
You gotta put the
password.
password
You know
in
the
there.
password. I know you know the password. There
yeah.
he goes.
Whoa.
Can you help him? Yeah, there we go. But yeah, please continue with that story.
So yeah, you know, working, getting home, working again, and I wasn't charging from anything.
yeah,
The way I saw it, I'm shooting my shot.
yeah,
He wears them. I start to get recognition for this. It might be able to jumpstart my career again, right?
yeah. Like no guarantee,
Yeah, no guarantees.
but the work you're gonna do.
you're gonna risk it.
Yeah.
Risk it for the biscuit. You know?
Yes.
So
Hell yeah.
yeah, he sends me this box this high. It's like 20 pairs. No shoe boxes in there. Just 20 pairs of size 20 shoes in there. So I'm just going in, and I'm sending him out shoes like consistently.
Yeah.
And the first day, mind you, I don't have cable at home.
Mm-hmm.
Still don't have a car. I'm sleeping on a futon at that point, living in my aunt's garage.
And you need supplies.
Oh yeah, I had to pay for all that at that point. Yeah, I was paying for all that.
Jeez.
So, yeah, it was a grind, man. And art stuff is not cheap.
No.
So yeah, dude. The first time he wears them is 2017 preseason in China against the Warriors. It's televised.
It's got chills, bro.
Yeah, it was crazy. He wears it, and people are posting the shoes.
Yeah.
But still, nobody knows who did them, right? But just the fact that I know that people are accepting it. Mind you, I'm the first artist to really break down the barrier, and I'm the first one that really started doing sneakers for NBA players. Like,
and now to add to that, these are game-worn sneakers. Usually, we associate custom sneakers.
They
with
wear them off the court, like
yeah,
walking.
for fashion.
Yeah, these guys are wearing them in court.
Yeah.
Right. So that's crazy.
That's dope, man.
Yeah. So he wore them in China. People are buzzing, but nobody knows. But just knowing that we're going somewhere. He liked them. He enjoyed them.
And he got the positive reaction from it. It's like,
So
all right.
he was digging it.
Yeah.
And he was a Nike athlete at that point, but he wasn't like one of their like main guys, right? They stick to like these superstar core dudes.
Yeah.
But he was a Nike athlete, so he was risking a lot on the line here. Like, you know, he put his neck out for me.
Yeah.
So I had to make sure I do the best I can on these sneakers, you know. So he looked good, and then he kept wearing them. Then it came the alumni game for his university, and he was playing with Anthony Davis, DeMarcus Cousins, you know, a bunch of these players. I get a text from DeMarcus Cousins like a few days after, like, "Yo, this is Boogie. Like, I
That's
need
the
some
homie.
shoes."
Yeah.
And I was like, "What?" Like, you know, I'm getting text
Yeah.
from another, and he was a star at that time. So I was
Yeah.
like, "Oh, this Boogie." Like, yep.
Yeah. Shout out to Boogie, by the way.
Yeah, Boogie,
Yeah.
man.
Shout out to Boogie.
So it's crazy. Like, it kind of became like a snowball effect. But and I was still working at this job.
Wow.
You know, but the night that really changed my life, like the turning point of this entire, like, my career period, a few weeks before Halloween. Like, now it would probably be at this point right now, like that time.
In
like,
what year?
In 2017,
All right.
right? But like right now, like
Yeah.
this is where I'm still working at that shitty job.
Yeah.
But like
Paint
in
that picture
2017,
for every artist listening to this right now that may be in that shift. Like, paint that picture for them right now of
Yeah, man.
how things can change.
So it's I texted him. I was like, "Yo, there's Halloween is coming up. This is our chance to really make a splash in this whole shit. Like, this is it. Like, what character are you thinking?" And he was like, "Let's do Jason." I was like, "All right, yeah, let's do Jason." I was hyped. Mind you, size 20 shoe, right? So what are we gonna do here?
Yeah.
I ended up making, and if you look it up on Google, you put cat Halloween shoes, like, it's all over the place, right?
Yeah.
I did Jason holding the Nike swoosh like a machete, and there's
Okay.
like blood splattered throughout the whole shoe. There's like smoke and fog, and I made the soles like look brown dirt grungy, you know. It just all fit together.
That's sick.
And he wears them. I'm just getting out of work. I don't have cable, so the only place I could get any kind of notifications is my phone.
Wow.
Pre-game, like, this is before they're even, like, people aren't really in the stadium. He's just doing shoot around. My phone starts going off, right? This was the first pair I got, like, full recognition for this. Like, tagged wherever it was posted. He made sure that ESPN, Sports Center, everything, bro. Like, the whole shebang. Like, this night just was crazy, right?
Yeah.
I had people texting me since I couldn't see it. People were texting me like, "Yo, man, this is yours? Those are your shoes?"
Yeah.
Yeah, this is my stuff, bro. You know? So it was like surreal moment for me. And then like on ESPN, they were like, "Yo, sneakers of the year right here." Like, you know what I mean? Like, they were showing the sneakers. They were saying Kickstradomis on ESPN, Sports Center. I was just like, "Yo, this is crazy." Like, blowing up all over social medias. And I posted the shoes, and it was like to that point, my most engaged, like, post, like, ever at that point, right? So I'm on a high. I'm like, damn, I still got to go to bed. Like, it was hard to sleep.
Yeah.
I go to bed, wake up again, go into this shitty-ass job.
Tired. Probably tired still.
I'm in
You're like, it feels good, but I'm tired.
Yeah, man. I'm on this Uber, and I'm looking through my phone and I have hundreds of emails.
Wow.
And these people are like, yo, how can I get that sneaker? So I was like, man, I've never paid more than $250 for some custom work at this point. But I was like, I'm going to shoot my shot. So I made like this big copy and paste. Like, yo, these are some extremely exclusive shoes. If you want these sneakers, like, here's my PayPal. It's going to be $850. I'll supply the sneaker. I'm only making a limited run. So, you know, first come, first serve.
And were you like, it's going to take 2 months or a month or whatever? Like you just got to be patient.
I was like, I'll probably get 2. Right? I'll get like 2 orders, but that's good.
Yeah.
Send it to all these people. And then back at work. So there's no service in this refrigerator warehouse. The only place you could get service is you have to go to the bathroom. So I literally had to take like 4 shit breaks.
Yeah, which is really the only time we're on our phone, right? We're just watching videos.
So I had to go to the bathroom and act like I had something wrong with my stomach. But I'm sitting there, and in the first break I took after I sent those emails, I had like $10,000 in my PayPal.
Damn.
Like,
Let's go.
Like, it was crazy, right?
Yeah, let's go.
So I go back to work. Like, I used to joke with my coworkers there, right? Like, oh, yeah, me voy, man. I'm out. Like, I'm quitting, you know? And they're like, you're not quitting, bro. And I'll never quit.
You do that every day. You're
like, they'll be like, you're not quitting. But they knew that, like, I was onto something because I started doing it. And it's funny because I'm really cool with one of my supervisors from back then to this point. And, like, he's a good friend of mine. But like when I got the job, he gave me the job, and he was an artist himself too. He did like a little bit of graph and stuff, and he saw my hustle and my grind, and he was like to this day, he's like, man, I can't believe it. Like, you did it. You did this. Like, you were down there, bro. Like, you know. So I would always tell him like, I'm out, bro. But they would never believe me. I'd never leave. So I had the 10,000. I went back to work, and I was excited, but I still had to work.
Oh, yeah.
I took another break. At this point, I had like 16,000 in the PayPal. Like,
wow.
It was going crazy. Like, I'm almost at the point where I'm going to make my whole year that I make here in one day, right? It got to the point where one break, it was like close to 20 grand. Wow. And I still couldn't pull the trigger and quit, right? Like, I needed something. So there's an email that had came in, and it was from ESPN, and they're like, yo, we would love to do a like over the phone interview with you. Like, are you available in the next 30 minutes? And I was like, yeah, I'll be there. I went back to my spot, took off my vest, took off my walkie-talkie, put it down. I was like, yo, I'm out. I'm a boy, man. He was like, nah, bro, I never looked back, bro. I walked by the supervisor that nobody liked. I walked right past him. He probably thought I was on break. I took my last Uber home. It was like the greatest feeling.
You know how many people have gone through that scenario in their head and have never had a chance to do that? And you experienced that. And I'm curious, like, looking back on it, what would you attribute to, you know, some factors beyond shooting your shot, which is essential, and beyond really knowing, like, specifically, I'm going to customize shoes. So you know what your canvas is. What else would you attribute to what you did to build up to that moment? Because there are opportunities, like someone like catcalling and being like, you know, saying that opportunity, that's some like God stuff, saying I'm going to roll the dice. You can't explain that. But the work that you did, what would you think it was that like really helped make that moment happen that you had control over?
Man, it's like anything, bro. You get what you put in, right? Like, I never quit, right? I mean, when I was doing sneakers before the accident and stuff, even my family would kind of be like, this is what you want to do? Like, this is going to be, like, you going to be okay doing this? People outside, I would be like, you know, I'd be like, I'm an artist. And they're like, what, like a tattoo artist? Because I'm blasted, right? I'm like, nah, I'm not a tattoo artist. I paint shoes. I paint sneakers. What?
And you make
like what?
Money?
Like,
people
nah,
pay you for this?
like in their heads, they're probably laughing at me, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I do, right?
Just never stopping, like never quitting,
man.
No matter what.
I had so many things I had to get past, so many things that I had to overcome, so many, mental things. Like I told you, like so many people telling me I ain't gonna make it, so many people telling my art is trash. Constantly hearing these things, like I told you, I did quit for like a year,
which you said was partly like not having the mental strength to compartmentalize the hurt or pain or doubt and just continue working. But I think now you probably look back on it like the mental strength, and when you did realize that, you would have worked through that, and you were ready when the time came.
Absolutely, man. I mean, it could happen to anybody.
Yeah,
it really could, and I'm just blessed. We're all blessed, man. To do what we love.
But were you always, as much ups and downs you've been through, were you always having a positive outlook on things? Like, you know what? I'm going to keep going. Things are going to work out. Like, was that you naturally?
Yeah, even to this day, what people don't understand too, and I run through it all the time, is I make more money, but that doesn't mean the bills get any cheaper. They get more expensive.
Ain't that the truth?
So it's like,
God, that's relatable.
Yeah, I make a lot of money, so some people will be like, I like to dress nice sometimes, you know, but most of the time, bro, like, like I'm dressed in some sweat shorts and a shirt and some Crocs, like just chilling.
I bet your Crocs are fire though.
Man, I got regular black Crocs, bro. Like, like I'll go to the market like that. Like, I don't care. Like, people don't know. Like, unless they have me on social media, they don't know who I am. Like, that's the craziest part, though. Like, somebody can see us walking out and they have no idea, like, who we are or what we've accomplished, or what
which most of my day is like that. It's like I love that, and it's like, and that's partly why I'm excited that my kids have activities outside of school. So imagine like our society is like school to my kids. But outside of society, we have these disciplines that we work at and these communities that we support through it, and you get that love and recognition. And then you go on to society, and, people may say things or not notice you or whatever. And, my kids go back to school and they may get bullied or picked on, but they have the confidence in those activities outside of that. They have their communities to go back to. So when my kids are maybe picked on or bullied at school, they're like, it's okay, you're not my people. My people got my back, and we know each other. And same thing with us. It's like, you go into society, they're like, they don't have to understand me, because this community I'm part of does. They get me, and I contribute to them. And there's a confidence that comes with that is unlike anything else in life, to know that you give love and you're loved by, and that could be your family, your community you create for, or anything else outside of just general society.
Yep.
That's us going to the grocery store and the Crocs and the thing, and it's not caring. I don't care.
Like, yeah, man. But like I was saying, like, to this day, like, some people be like, oh, why don't you got some nice shoes on? Why don't you got like, no Gucci on or something? And it's just like, well, I mean, me and you are in a different space where we have kids.
Yes.
We have bills and all that stuff. Other people don't have all that, so I mean, they don't understand, right? And when you make more money, like I said, the lifestyle changes. Yeah. So the bills change. So it's about being responsible as well. I've had I made some mistakes financially in the past, and had to learn from it, and just pick up from there.
I mean, and you're not alone. I think that there's a misconception with artists making it, that you make the money, you put it in your pocket, things are supposed to be good, but you have to learn how to run a business. And as you get busier, you start hiring people, and again, yes, the bills change. It's just different, but there's just more to learn and manage, and that's part of making it. So I think you kind of have to approach it with some caution if you can. Like, I would caution an artist and say, like, go, but also know that there's some other stuff that comes with this. And it's not a vacation every day. It's not, I get to not care about what anything else is happening. In fact, it's the opposite. in fact, I feel like what attributes to the success of you and I is having to be more disciplined with the little bit of time that we get outside of kids or other responsibilities that we have. And so the lack of freedom has caused more of like a narrow point of view now. We're like, all right, I'm gonna stay focused.
Especially now for my career, like as my career got, you know, further down the road, like in the past few years, I kind of felt boxed in.
Mm-hmm.
Like it got to the point where I felt like everybody just knew me as the guy that paints shoes.
Mm-hmm.
And there's so much more layers behind that, right? Like I'm an artist. Like that's what I am. Like I do art. So kind of like almost like a rebrand, like these past few years I've been able to do, where I've painted like designer toys, designer vinyls, Funkos, back to my canvas stuff, back to my fine art stuff, merch, trading cards, custom stuff, like prints, comic books.
Yeah.
I've been able to really bust that door open. But doing that, the time gets a little slimmer, right?
Yeah.
So yeah,
But
it's
but you're
crazy.
reinventing yourself. That's a natural progression of a successful artist. Is you broke through with one thing, and now you're diversifying a little bit, because you were always creating high-end collectibles. That's still sort of like the general sense of it, the community. And I told you this earlier, but what you are doing is what every artist should be doing in their career. Is you are part of this collectible community. It started with sneakers, but it opened the door to the vinyl toys and merch, and now trading cards as well. All people who see value in things that are rare, that they can collect. An artist should be doing the same. They should be creating art that celebrates a culture that they're part of themselves, and also there's other people that can relate to this. And maybe it starts there. Like I started doing jazz paintings at a pub in downtown Sacramento. That's how it started. But it opened the door to painting music theme art, opened the door to performing portraits, and then, and from there you just kind of go. But it's like you got to start with that one thing that you also are part of.
Something that takes off, and just take it from there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, there's something new I want to do with this podcast in a little bit. But before we get to that, and we'll explain what that is. But I'm curious, where do you see like custom collectibles going, whether it has to do with you or just in general? Because there's a show on Netflix, the Golden Auctions, and my son started watching this, and he thinks it's so cool to like see like all these different collectibles, from like Ric Flair's robe to
sports cards and everything.
Sports cards. People are pulling cards that are going for millions of dollars. So with this now being on Netflix, and you were talking about a website that live stream and auctions. From your experience, where do you see collectibles going now? I mean, what's your take?
Just in this past three years, the boom has been insane. Because sports cards were cheap back then. I remember when I was little, it was like $2 a pack, $1 a pack. But not just sports cards, collectibles in general. I've seen Funkos go for a couple thousands. I've had some of my custom Funkos in an auction go for over $4,000. We're talking about a Funko Pop that probably would have cost me from between $20 to $100. And I turned it into $4,000. Right?
Wow.
Everything, designer vinyl toys. I mean, Bear Bricks, Cause, all that stuff's been around and it's still doing amazing. So I think the sky's the limit, man. And you're starting to see more art, like more artists, like starting to take the helms and like doing things. Because I mean, end of the day, like you could make art out of anything, bro. Like we could paint these Fiji bottles.
Yeah.
I
like how you think. I like how, because I'm honestly, I think I'm so limited to like, just do the canvas, and you're so like, bro, you can paint on anything. Like you can give value to any object, and it'll mean something more to someone else.
Yeah, I painted some crazy stuff.
What is the craziest?
I did a project. Man, the craziest. I did a project for a rim company where they had me paint wheels, like wheels, like on some crazy stuff. One of my favorite projects, though, that I will say, like, you know how I told you in the beginning, I used to be only able to afford cup of noodles. Like, I buy the 24-pack, put it in the back. There was like a full circle moment, like, I want to say 2019, where I ended up getting a huge partnership project with Cup of Noodles.
Oh, wow.
It was like 25 grand for that project.
Wow. Full circle.
Yeah, they wanted me to just do one pair, paint the Cup of Noodles on it, and do a giveaway. So
let's take that a step further, because you found opportunity through social media. And when I try to explain to people what you do, they're like, tell me about this Kickstradomis. Like, no one talks to me like that. But when, you know, I was telling the guys, I'm like, I got my boy Sal coming, like, what does he do? I'm like, well, he's a sneaker designer, and he like designs collectibles and paints them, but it's so much more, because he creates these deals with these brands, and the brand is like, hey, we like what you do and how you present your art. Can you do something for our brand in the way that you do it and you see the world?
Well, there's something that a lot of artists need to listen to. I think that a lot of artists should actually watch this, because there's a lot of information here.
Yeah.
But the thing that separates me and you from a lot of other artists is, one, we're not scared to be in the public eye. We're not scared to be on video. We're not scared to create live.
I have no shame at all. I have very, very little shame. That's the truth, yeah.
Two is being personable, being able to know how to do content, know how to, you know, interact and, like, be good on camera, know how to speak on camera, you know? Like, these are all big things that some of these artists, like, they would ask me, like, yo, what can I do? Like, how did you get there? Like, I don't understand. I'm like, well, listen to these simple steps.
Yeah.
Do what you got to do. You get yourself out there, right? So the partnership things, there's levels to it, right? There's, okay, we love your art. We love your content. You know how to film. You know how to talk on camera, you know, personable. And you relate to, you know, the kids, the younger crowd, the older crowd, all of them. We tie them all into one.
Yeah.
So that all works together, right? There could be this amazing artist, but if he's not personable, like, what kind of content is it gonna be? Is it gonna make sense for? Not only that, social media is free, right? It's a free advertising platform, Instagram. So that's what I tell them, like, dude, get on Instagram, get on, like, I'm not big on TikTok, but I've done some videos that went crazy. I don't know how, right? But every social media is free advertisement, right? So just take it from there, man. Like, we've been able to build these platforms that not only are companies like, oh, you know, he's good on camera, but he has these impressions, engagement, like, with these people. They don't even care if somebody's going to buy the product. They just want the eyes on it, right?
And that's the value to them. So I had just taken part in this campaign with Monster Energy, and I found out about the other artists that they had hired for this. So I was like, okay, cool. I'm going to personally just watch the numbers. And the way advertising goes online is they'll invest money into different creatives. So I was one creative. They paid me, you know, it was like $7,500 to create the video, to do the post. But the way it works on TikTok is you post it as an ad only. So it doesn't even show up on my page. It only shows up.
Like when people are like
swiping, and it looks like it's from me, but it says paid promotion. So what they do is when you post it, they see which ones are going to do well organically first. And so I was looking at the other artists. I'm like, theirs isn't really doing well, but mine's doing millions already, like in a couple days. So then they're like, this is the one we put money behind. And then they put more money behind it. They get the better engagement.
Because it's what's going to catch the attention of these kids scrolling through there, right?
Yes, yes. And that's really the key. It's like, so now I learned from that. I'm like, now I need to approach any advertising I do like that. I need to create different creatives, put them out there. What does the best organically? And then put more money or effort behind that. And that could be just how even day-to-day content, like which ones do better. But what you're saying at the end of the day, just put it out first.
Yeah, that's been kind of like something that I'm starting to pick up on again. Is for a while, like, I wasn't posting as much on social media, right? Like, there's points where it was like once every few weeks or once a month, right? But now it's just like it's starting to heat up again a little bit with some stuff that I've been doing. I did something crazy with Nesquik, which was really fun.
I saw that. That was really dope.
So it's really fun, you know, being able to like, you know, remove these swishes and like incorporate my own take on stuff like that, you know, getting creative with it.
Bro, you killed that one.
Yeah, it was
like
fun,
that
bro.
was really, really dope. Yeah.
We're actually talking, I don't want to say it is, but might be going to Art Basil with them.
Okay.
They want me to like paint a lowrider, bro.
Oh yeah.
Like, and then have the rabbit driving it, like just hitting switches.
that's dope. Yeah.
So it's crazy stuff.
Have you been to Art Basel?
I've never had.
Oh my God. So I went for the first time last year and I was like, we'd always been booked around that time. It's a really busy season for us, but we went last
Crazy
year.
Or what?
Insane. It is like if you were a football player and you went to the Super Bowl and everyone was like, yo, you're not even in the game, but you're the guy that plays for a team. This is like your Super Bowl. I was walking down the street in Wynwood, and there's people walking by like recognizing me because they're out their eyes are just looking for artists in general, and I'm just out literally looking at art.
That's crazy.
Looking at murals with my friend. Our event was down the street. We were there with Meta and also Spring Hill. So that's LeBron's production company. And anyways, just being there during an art festival thing, bro, it is so dope. And even when you say you're an artist out there, you're at a bar having a drink, oh, what brings you out here? I'm an artist. I'm out here for Art Basil. And oh, wow. Like it's not like saying you're an artist on a Tuesday. Like, oh, cool. Good luck with that. You're an artist, no matter whether you're showing or not, just sit there and you say, I'm an artist at Art Basel. It's a different vibe. And there's a different level of value and respect during that time. So I won't be able to go this year because we just booked the tour, and I'll tell you about it off air. But it's incredible. Take it, do it, figure it out. And even if you don't do it with them and you can go out, go. Do something.
Gotta check it out, huh?
It's really dope.
That's awesome.
Highly recommend it. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So, we could sit here for hours. I already know we're going to do some collaborations. We're going to do this again. But there's something new I want to introduce to the Paint Method family podcast. And, you know, we both have some specific insights into art business because we've had to grow our own art businesses. But there's this segment I wanted to add to this. I think it'd go well with you if you're up for it, called Paint by Numbers.
Of course, man.
And so I got some topics. So we're going to go through some art news. And we're going to try it out. I don't know how it's going to go, but I would love to get your take on just some things. So let's go to the first one. And so I got a little opinion about this one, but Pittsburgh's Andy Warhol Museum announces $45 million expansion proposal. So the Andy Warhol Museum has proposed a $45 million expansion plan that would increase the institution's footprint by more than 60%, according to the Associated Press. So when I read this, I'm like, is Andy Warhol still relevant in this day and age? Or is it one of those things that like why would you need that much investment?
Yeah, it's not only that, like, what more Andy Warhol do you have to put in there? $45 million.
Yeah. I'm just already thinking like there's some money laundering going on here.
That's crazy.
Because think about it. Most museums pay the estates that own the art, because it'll say next to the art, you know, courtesy of this estate. So I'm thinking maybe there's, you know, Warhol owners that are like, I can make more money off of this.
That want to put their stuff in there too.
While it still goes up in value. And I don't know, but it's just like already like growing 60% more than a footprint. It's like, yeah, where else do you get them? Where else do you get more?
Is there
Warhols?
that many?
I mean, he's dead. He's not making any more.
I mean, there could be I don't know. That could be scary for like influx of like fakes too.
And there was recently a show in Florida, and it was a Basquiat show. All of them were fake.
All of them.
All of them. It was like if you go on Google, and we'll have to set this up for next time so we can Google stuff in real time and put it up. But they found out that all of them were fake, and the museum had to like put out this apology. But the person who brought it in, they made millions of dollars because they pay for the exhibit to be at the museum. That's the real game with museums.
So this guy that brought them in still made money?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Now, I don't know afterwards, did they sue him? Did they get the money back? All I know is that they confirmed that the Basquiat's were fake. So,
That's insane.
I don't know. You're right. Maybe this will entice people. You know, maybe we can do a Warhol collab.
Yeah.
It just shows up in the new museum. They have space for it.
I mean, it's crazy when you see Warhol stuff now compared to what's out there now. Like how different art culture has gone, right? It's just nuts.
Although I'll give Warhol this credit, is he made pop culture in the sense of you can look at pop culture through the lens of fine art.
Oh yeah, it's
like
iconic pieces, man.
It is, and what he was doing at the time with even the Campbell soup cans, like to us it's iconic. At that time it was crazy. It was like, you're gonna paint what? Or like GE logos, and he made it. He positioned it. And like that's really, I think, what it was.
I really like the pop culture take on like inverting colors and stuff like that. That's what really got me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just think that the positioning of an image, adding celebrity to it, adding hype. I mean, what's changed?
No.
All right. What's the next one? All right. So, do you want to read this one?
Oh, this is crazy. 6 stolen paintings mysteriously delivered to art detective in Amsterdam. 6 paintings stolen from the town hall in Medemblik, Holland, recently appeared without warning on the doorstep of an art detective in Amsterdam with no return address. Wow.
I would assume that's how all stolen art should be returned, right?
So, you think the crook dropped it off? Like,
absolutely.
I mean, how are you gonna sell it? Maybe the black market or something? I just.
This is my theory. I think they tried to go sell it,
and they couldn't.
And they couldn't. Someone flagged it,
and they said, "I'm gonna rat you out if you don't turn this in."
Because this happens with watches. There was a big YouTube watch guy recently who. Someone was trying to. He said that this watch shop was trying to sell his stolen watch.
Oh.
And it became a whole scandal. He eventually came out.
Well, they have serial numbers too on some of these watches. So.
They do. Same thing with this art is they can say like, "Hey, no, this has been reported stolen for many years." But if you can find a collector that isn't aware of that, then yeah, you can sell it. If not, you're like, this is worth nothing to me.
That's crazy.
Now, it's only helpful if one, obviously, the artist is dead and they have no estate in place. Then you could probably get away with that. But if there's an estate in place, someone's gonna put a report out, or they're just gonna flag it.
I wonder what these pieces were worth.
I'm gonna guess by the look of that. I mean, we gotta talk like hundreds of thousands, right? Like, just it's old and
some old school stuff,
and
royal stuff look like.
Isn't that crazy? Like, when you think about art back then was really documenting, because they didn't have the tools like cameras,
like pictures. Yeah,
that's just someone's family photo. That's a Polaroid on the wall, but an old Amsterdam Polaroid.
That's nuts.
Yeah, that's crazy. Stop stealing art, people. Jeez. All right. What's the next one? Oh, you're going to love this one. Fed up with chaos. Van Gogh Museum scraps free Pokemon card initiative. So an unlikely collaboration between the Van Gogh Museum in Amsterdam and Japanese media giant Pokemon has ended. According to the BBC, after a small group of individuals swarmed the gift shop, creating what the museum described as an undesirable situation. How would you translate undesirable situation?
I think it's funny. I like how you have the small group of individuals, because when you watch that video, it's a huge mob of people just going nuts in there, right? I think the idea was awesome. I don't know what they expected. I mean, we're going back to collectibles, right? You have people for over a pair of sneakers. Like when they used to line up in the morning, you had fights for sneakers. So it's kind of the same realm right here, man.
I don't think that they knew what was going to come with hype culture into a museum. Like, have you been to the Van Gogh Museum?
You're talking about Amsterdam. They probably had no clue it was going to be.
Oh
like
yeah.
this.
Have you been to the Van Gogh Museum before?
Never.
It's I've been there. It's in Amsterdam. It's
Is
like
it small?
No, it's huge. It's massive. It's like several different stories, and as you go up, the whole thing is that it's a ramp in a circle, and by the time you get to the top, you feel kind of disoriented to feel like him. And you kind of do. The coolest thing they do about that museum is they, when you get higher on the levels, they pair his most iconic works, like say the sunflowers, and they'll put it next to the artist that influenced him.
Wow.
It's really dope. You'll see the artists at that time where they did these sunflowers, and they told the story about how that he was friends with him. And so the fact that the museum went and acquired this art to put next to it and to show that there's nothing new under the sun. Like, there's influences, even who we regard the most original person. But I would say this also, most museums or performing arts centers, they have a dying patronage. I think that's the word. Patrons that are just getting old. Mm-hmm. And so they're always like, how do we change it up? How do we bring
so I get what you're saying.
Younger
they didn't
audience.
know what to expect here.
And they're like, oh, kids like Pokemon. And then they're like, there's only a few available, and then instantly triggers hype culture. And
yeah, some of these cards were going like $300-$400 on eBay the day they launched these.
Did you try to get one?
Oh, nah,
Were you looking?
I think he got one, though. But
oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just the most left field collaboration you could think of.
But I think it's dope.
Look
at
really
that,
dope.
bro. Look at
really dope.
Pokemon, or look at that. Like, it just looks cool.
It literally looks like something he would have painted, which is the craziest part, right?
Yeah, look at that Pikachu. He's just like,
I know other people are watching,
adorable.
though, so this won't be the last time we see something like this. I think it's just going to be somebody else will do it, and it's going to be calculated better, right?
I hope so. I hope that they do better collaborations, because I do think that you can introduce a new audience into a classic artist.
I could totally see like a Takashi Murakami Pokemon collab somewhere in the line.
See, that seems like obvious. I want to see.
I'm kind of surprised it hasn't happened.
Yeah, I want to see the Takashi Murakami collab with oh man, what's like the Kentucky Derby.
That would be crazy.
You know what I mean? Like the horses and like a
Takashi
Japanese
Murakami
pop art style. Like that's the collabs I want to see. Is
crazy.
The non-obvious. So
yeah.
All right, I think there's one more. I had 4 of these. All right. Go ahead. You want to read this one?
Drift to stage massive 1,000 drone performance in New York's Central Park in October. Drift, the moniker for artist duo Ralph Nauda and Lanek Gordigan, I believe.
That sounds close. Close enough.
Close enough. Will stage a performance of Franchise Freedom, their famed drone performance, in New York City's Central Park later this month, the artist told Art News. This is crazy because I've seen some crazy drone stuff.
Yo, the reason why I saw this is drones are on fire. I don't think that they get
Disney
the credit.
Drone stuff is crazy.
So I'll give this away now that I've already proposed to my fiance. The first idea I had for my proposal, drones. So I was like, I'm gonna go look up. I'm gonna hit up a company. I DM'd them, and they're like, oh hey, we love your work. I'm like, nah, I love yours. So what's the starting rates for?
What's this entail here,
bro? $25,000 floor price. To
for a minimum base.
Probably
level.
You get 5 drones.
What?
I don't know, but it was the floor price was $25,000. Now, okay, I'm thinking about it in terms of okay, a corporate performance is in that range, corporate numbers and who they're probably creating drone
these
shows for.
Big companies,
it's nothing. It's
that,
and then also I just think that when you start working in dimension in the sky is another level.
Yeah, I mean these things have to be ran by computers that probably they already there's not somebody flying each drone, there can't be. There's no way.
So the drone shows I've seen, they are they'll have a big Pepsi can in the sky and then it opens up, or there's an eagle. But this seems cool because what I'm now going to go down the rabbit hole and I'm going to go search for this artist where they're making like art with drones, because that's not the obvious where you can just pin a line and say, follow this line to make a world. But now I'm like, what else are you doing?
When are they doing this?
I don't know. We're gonna find out. It's later this month.
It's October, so
yeah, this is later this month. So maybe it's coming up soon. So
they're just gonna do it like randomly. Anybody could see it.
Probably. I'm sure they're funded by the city of New York or some, arts organization.
I hope they go like some kind of like Halloween vibe with it too, because it's October. I think that would be awesome.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see what the art side of what they can do with drones. I remember also I was at a Justin Bieber concert at Golden One Center inside an arena, and one of his sets had drones flying around, and I was like, this has to be like one of the coolest. I don't know if anyone really appreciated what it takes to do that. And also the variables of one of those little drones hitting
the pole.
What do they call it? Belieber.
Something like hitting a believer.
Hitting a belieber across the face, and it just ruins it for everyone.
Yeah, that's gonna be a big lawsuit right there for sure.
Yeah,
that's wild.
Yeah, so I can't wait to. I'm gonna check that out.
And I can imagine these drones are way bigger than the typical drone that we were looking at the store.
You'd be surprised.
Really?
Have you seen videos of them setting these up? Oh. I think it's called Firefly drones. That's the one that I hit up. Hit up several of them. They're all around the same price range, but they're not that big. And actually, they're maybe 1.5 feet in size.
So I'm guessing the light's on the top of them, and they're like flying sideways or something.
Yeah, there's like an RGB light on top, and so if you imagine, they're like pixels. So adjusting each pixel to the right color, that gives the illusion that there's a face there or is an object.
Just thinking about the guy that has to like put this whole performance together on the computer and make sure they all fly together, like
the anxiety.
Yeah, it's too much, right?
I mean, how many times do you have to rehearse? That I understand the price now. The programming, the designing, programming, testing, insurance.
Oh yeah, dude.
Per show. Yeah. So if you see me with doing drones at my show in the future, you heard it here first.
Oh, there you go. Man.
Yeah, it means I could
drones
afford.
Are gonna paint it for you too.
I could afford the check.
There you go, man.
That's what it was.
That's wild.
Yeah, man, Sal, we gotta do this again, bro.
Oh, absolutely.
Dude, I know we could sit here and talk about this stuff for hours, but I'm gonna make sure each time is a high quality conversation. But man, can we do this again?
Absolutely, man.
So,
I'll be here.
Where can people follow you and find your work?
Man, Instagram, Kickstradomis, just the way it sounds, KICKSTRADOMIS. You know what's the worst? I go somewhere and they're like, what's your email? Type it in. I'm like, man.
Imagine having a name like Garibaldi. Garibaldi. Like if I say Garibaldi to people who speak Spanish or Italian, they get it.
Yeah.
Garibaldi to an American is like, I'm sorry, what?
They're struggling to read it out, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. So yeah, definitely
but if you
Instagram.
But if you see him on the streets, call him Kicks.
Yeah, Kicks works.
Say Kicks, and he'll know.
Instagram, and if you want to see live auctions or any of my art, and you want to purchase something, then the app Whatnot is usually where I'm gonna get you. Over
we're
there.
gonna do
Yeah,
I'm gonna do something. You're gonna we're gonna do something together on
Whatnot.
Whatnot. So that's
Absolutely.
an app, right?
An app.
I'm gonna download
live
it right
streaming
after this.
the app.
And the recording of this today, you're gonna be having a live stream tonight.
Yep.
Okay, so we'll be posting this I think next week, but yeah, I can't wait, man. Yo, thank you for coming, spending time, sharing your story. I really hope that the artists that are listening to this or someone that's just on a creative journey on their paint method path, that there's a piece of this that will help them create what's next in their journey, whether it's on the passion phase, action, intent, new, or teach.
Absolutely, man.
Appreciate
Thanks
you,
for having me, brother.
Of course. Thank you.